but we got some Ziploc bags, and we used to make a couple care packages for
Bring it with you.
New Haven style pizza. Come and take a seat. A beats, it's time to eat.
All right, here we are, episode 13. We made it to episode 13. I can't believe we've done that many of these.
1-3, baby. 1-3.
It is Charred, a New Haven Pizza Show. I'm Kevin Begley, Frank Zabsky, and if you haven't noticed by watching this so far, we're outside today.
Yes, sir.
This is exciting.
Outside. It couldn't be the hottest day in the whole year, but we're outside.
We're at Carmine's in Durham. If you've been to here before, it's on Main Street. Awesome spot. There's an ice cream place I'm looking at directly across the street that in this hot weather we're having lately this summer, sounds pretty good too.
Like I say, in Durham, there's only 3 things. Durham Dairy Serve, cows, and Carmine's.
That is true. Driving here, you're like on these back roads. It's a fun drive, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Coming here. But, yeah, we're excited to be here. And for episode 13, we have a bunch of stuff we're going to get to. We got some pizza news. We got some questions from the Facebook group that we've got, from social media. So the first thing we want to talk about, though, is the Connecticut Pizza and Brewfest. Now, this is last year's shirt. So it has last year's date, which I thought would be fun because that's tomorrow. So July 16th was when we had this last year. It's the 1-year anniversary of the Connecticut Pizza and Brewfest. Now, obviously, this year's is in August 11th. It's a Sunday. You can get tickets at ctpizzaandbrewfest.com. It is presented by Brown Roofing, and we thought we'd give an update about, everything that's going to be happening there because we've had some meetings since, the last time we've really talked about it on this show.
Yeah.
So, we've even added some more pizza places, some beers, some breweries, some vendors, things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So why don't we start with the pizza places?
Okay. So the pizza places that are going to be there, I'll give you a quick rundown and then we'll get into the details. We have 20 pizza trucks coming, 20 craft breweries, 2 live bands, 3 pizza panels.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's going to be basically twice as big as last year. And if anyone was here that's listening to this that went last year, obviously they knew we had a little bit of challenge with the weather.
Right, it was basically a hurricane. It was crazy, the forecast, and then it poured.
It was crazy, and the one thing that I remember is looking out the little area that I was doing the pizza panel. We were doing the pizza panels in, and I saw this line of people basically going down past the amp with umbrellas, and I'm like, holy cow, I cannot believe people are standing in a line in this pouring rain.
So if that many people will come out in a tropical storm, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get some nice weather this year. It'll be even better.
Yeah, and the things that are going to bring people out are, and I'm probably not going to get every single pizza truck, and I apologize, but I'll probably try to get most of them. But Pepe's is going to be there.
Yep.
Big Green Truck. Nautilus in Milford. Grand Beats.
Nautilus, by the way, won last year because we do the tasting voting.
Yes.
Yeah, they were our big winners, so they're going to have to try to, retain their pizza crown.
Exactly. Nick, that's a challenge for you. Zoo Parties is going to be there.
Oh, yes.
East Coast, Powler, New Haven Pizza Truck.
Yep.
Trying to think what else. I'm sure I'm going to
I think I got a bunch of them here. I got them right here, actually.
What do we got? So
If you
we've got
scroll
Dough
down.
Girls, Cast Iron Pizza.
We've been there.
Little Italy. We've got, said New Haven Pizza Truck, Red Planet, Sabores de Laja.
Where is that?
I don't know. Slice of New Haven, Smoking Mirrors, Polar already said it, Zoo Parties, I think I got them all. What do we got here? Did I miss any? I don't want to miss anyone. Bella Marie a Beach Truck.
Ooh.
I think that's the Cricket
Oh, okay.
car hop place in Stratford. I think they have a pizza truck. I
Nice.
think they have a bunch of trucks. And then Alfonso's Italian Street Food.
Nice.
He's been a big fan of ours, so I wanted to shout out to him. And I think I got everyone.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that's the best part about this, too. It's great to have the big ones like Pepe's and Zupardi's and have them all there to have their pizza. But it's also great to have the ones you might have never heard of before to try some new pizza,
Yeah. And they're all really good. I mean, everyone's
Right.
got their own little idiosyncrasies. Oh, I like this, I like that. But, I say this all the time, and I'll probably say it again 5 times today, but you don't last in pizza in Connecticut if you're not good.
Right. True.
Whether you have a pizzeria or a pizza truck, it doesn't happen.
That's literally the test. Like, if your place stays open, then you probably have good pizza.
Correct.
It's the litmus test. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to Heath before this. Now this is in Durham, Connecticut, which is kind of in the middle of the state. I mean, it's basically in the woods. You know, it's a lot of farms around here and stuff. And he's absolutely crazy busy.
Wow.
So, you know, Heath is originally from West Haven, but we'll get into that later. But bottom line is, yeah, good pizza. You'll be busy.
Now the big thing last year, you know, we had the brewery set up. It was the first year we did it, so we sort of underestimated the amount of people that wanted like a ton of beer tastings.
Yeah.
So we had it to sort of complement the pizza last year. It was like, oh, you could taste a couple beers, but it was mainly about the pizza. But after the feedback we got, we're like, I think we need to ramp up the breweries. Like we need to get a lot of people here, so it's a brew fest and a pizza fest sort of hand in hand. So that's what we did. So we got a ton of awesome breweries in the state coming. Bad Sons, we have Counterweight, we have City Steam, we have CT Valley Brewing. There's so many, I'm not going to run through them all, but those are some of the big ones. And if you're the DD, Athletic Brewing, non-alcoholic beer, they're going to be there too, which is perfect. Devil's Purse, Illicit, that's another great brewery that people love. And there's also going to be seltzer companies. There's going to be, you know, sort of like a lot of the summery type drinks, you know, the mixed drinks in cans, that type of thing that people can try. And it'll be in a whole separate contained area. So if you remember last year, they were kind of mixed in.
Right.
This will be a place where if you want to go and try some samples and hang with the breweries, you'll be in your own little spot.
I think there was mention also, and maybe this is the same thing, but we're going to have it like last year you couldn't go to the second level or the upper level, and I think that's going to be
I'm pretty sure, and a lot of this hinges on the weather. Again, knock on wood.
Right.
You know, because last year we were in that concourse because of the rain.
Yep.
A lot of it was pushed into there. But yeah, this all hinges on if it's going to be nice out. But yeah, hopefully we'll be up top. At the Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater. If you've been to shows there before, you'll in Bridgeport. Hopefully it'll be a sunny day and we'll be rocking it. Now we're also going to have bands there. So I know Shameless is playing, which is if you live in Connecticut and you've been to parties, you've probably heard Shameless.
Oh, yeah.
They're an awesome party band. They play events all over the state, and that's what we wanted for this. We wanted like fun sort of music, you know, and a band that's from Connecticut that can party with us and you know keep the party going while everyone's eating pizza and having beers from the breweries. And we also have the Brat Pack, who is a New England sort of party band.
Okay.
They play in Boston a lot. They play in Rhode Island. They obviously play here. They play all over. And they're another one that's just like hits and 80s songs and fun party music. So
well, if their name is Brat Pack, if their name is Brat Pack, they got to be 80s, 90s for sure.
Yeah.
So the most important thing I think that I want people to know is that the whole premise of the Pizza and Brewfest, which I believe was really your idea initially, is to celebrate pizza in Connecticut.
Yeah, it was sort of like all of us at, you know, because people who, if you listen to the show a lot, you know I work at the radio station, Starring at 9.9, and we partnered up with Frank because we knew he knew so much about pizza here in the state, and we wanted to create this because we had, and you agreed, like there hasn't been a huge pizza fest like that for a state that loves pizza.
Right.
So we you know, Connoisseur Media and us, and we got with Frank and started this last year, and now hopefully we'll do it years into the future. We should also talk about the panels too.
Yep. Yeah, so panels, we're going to have 3 panels. And last year we had, which was probably, it was a standing room only. It was Icons in New Haven Pizza. That's going to be, I think, at 3 or 3:15 this year. But basically it's ownership from Sally's, both new and old. So the Consiglios and the new owners. We're going to have family members from Pepe's. We're going to have Lou Abate, which is on Wooster Street. We're going to have Pat from Ernie's. We're going to have Doug from Big Green Truck. And this year, all those people were there last year.
It was awesome. That panel was so great.
But we got kind of really a star, so to speak. And unfortunately, he couldn't make it last year. But we have Mikey Abitz from Grand Abitz. So he is the son of the original Nuzzo that started Grand Abitz on State.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
On Grand Ave. And he's an absolute character.
Nice. I'm excited for that. Yeah.
We're going to have to give him like a time limit.
Yeah.
He keeps talking. He's worse than me.
Right. But yeah, those panels were so fun last year. And the rising stars we're going to have now too. The up and coming sort of new places.
Yep. We're going to have Icons in the Making. So that's going to be 6 people. Heath from where we are now. Heath from Carmine's in Durham's going to be here. Joe from Tipsy.
Yep.
We've got Gasmere from Zeneli on Worcester Street.
Nice.
Those guys are getting crazy acclaims I mean, they're just blowing up.
Yeah, they're in the news recently. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah.
And we've got Arsenio from New Haven Pizza Place in Milford.
Love Arsenio.
And I think a couple other ones. But yeah, that's going to be really good.
And then you're doing a demo again, right?
Yep. I'm doing a demo. It's going to be 1 hour, and it's going to be a quick version of my class.
Yeah.
But people got a lot out of it last year. I give away these cheat cups, which basically has the recipe in it. Makes it real easy for you to make it. Give you a little bit of pizza history. And going to go through quickly the dough, the sauce, and, it's a good time.
Yeah. And then we're also going to do so we're going to have the podcast presence there, obviously. We're probably going to use some of the audio from the panels for the podcast. And we've been going back and forth about doing a live podcast there, but I think the panels will sort of make that happen, and that audio will be the shows for that week. But we'll keep you posted on all of that too. People have been asking us about tickets. I've had a couple people ask me so if you go to the website ctpizzaandbrewfest.com, you can go there and it lays it all out for you. Basically, there's GA tickets and VIP tickets. So the VIP hour is noon to 1. And what you get with that, I pulled it up so I don't get it wrong, all you can eat pizza samples, free beer samples, and access to air-conditioned VIP lounge with complimentary water. So for that hour, 12 to 1, if you get the VIP, you get all that. Now the GA tickets start at 1 to 4:30. That's a $30 ticket. You get $3 cheese slices in the festival, free beer samples, and then other pizza slices are available. You can get for purchase from the pizza places if they offer like their specialty pie or things like that, based on their pricing. But yeah, that's how, and you can see all that on the website if you go to ctpizzaandbrewfest.com.
Yeah, and I just want to tell people also that listen, we're always going to get some. We're going to get a lot of good and a little bit of bad, and there's always going to be issues and questions on the pricing and the tickets and da-da-da-da. But I want to explain quickly the value that you get for those tickets.
Right.
For $30 for GA, you get 3 pizza panels. You can meet people that you probably never met before. There's also a Q&A there too.
Yeah.
But you're going to have basically 2 concerts, 2 live bands.
Yeah.
And the slices are $3 a slice. I mean, that's nothing.
Right.
So there's a huge value in the GA ticket. And the VIP ticket is just, you want to get in before everyone.
Yep.
That's probably the number one thing.
Totally.
And then you've got basically unlimited free slices.
Yeah.
And free beer samples.
Yeah, and that air conditioning too, if it's the heat wave that we've been having throughout the summer. But yeah, Frank's right. Like, you get so much out of this festival. And the other cool thing to me is that it's all these pizza places that you'd normally travel to go to, but in one spot. So that's sort of what you're paying for too. Like, you get to try them all at once without having to bounce all around the state. Now, it is great to visit these places, but you can't always do it in one day. There's so many great ones, and here you can.
Listen, if you love pizza and you love Connecticut, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
For $30, no-brainer at all. It's just crazy. It's just like you said. Where are you going to go? One place and try 20 different slices.
So yeah, you can get your tickets now. I know a lot of people are like, "Well, I'll just buy them the day of." But I mean, you can, but you're rolling the dice because if we get a nice day, it might sell out. Yeah.
And last year, I'm pretty sure we sold out of all the VIP tickets.
Yeah.
Prior to
totally
the class.
Hey, you can bring it in.
Oh,
yeah, look at this. So, shrimp scampi pizza.
Look at this dog.
Look at that. Thank you. Wow. We had the baked shrimp at Tipsy.
Oh yeah.
Last episode, and now we got the shrimp scampi pizza. That's awesome. Oh, nice. All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Nice. Delicious.
Got a little mozzarella.
Yeah.
Look at this dog, huh?
Oh, that looks so good. It smells
Carmine's.
good too. Yeah, I wish this was like smell-o-vision.
Durham.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
Margarita. Look at this guy, huh?
It's like we're in Italy.
Woo.
I love it. Nice. We get a little lunch here during this episode too.
I can see the drool coming down Ed's mouth right now.
Oh yeah, behind the camera. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right, great. So that sort of wraps up Pizza Fest. Get your tickets. The other cool thing, I'm wearing the shirt from last year, but we do have a design in the making for a new shirt too.
Yep.
So that's something that last year you were able to buy at the Pizza Fest. We had 2 shirts. We had this one last year that we wore, and then a lot of the staff wore this, and then we have the other one, the white one, which was really cool last year.
Yes.
On the back and in Crushed We Trust with the state.
Yeah.
There'll be a new design this year, which is also fun. So get your tickets August 11th, Hartford Healthcare Amphitheater in Bridgeport, Connecticut Pizza and Brewfest presented by Brown Roofing. Hopefully we see you there.
Be there or be charred.
Right. Now, we wanted to get to a couple other things. Let's talk about Riko's in Stamford.
Okay.
So I saw this article pop up. I've had Riko's a bunch, with the radio station. I used to do Alive at 5 a lot. We still do. But when they used to do it in downtown Stamford, Riko's used to be there selling pizza. I've been there a bunch. They're almost like the Colony style.
Ooh, that's bad.
Aren't
Yeah.
they rivals, the two of them?
So there's
Bar
some
style?
Yeah, it's definitely bar style, and there's some kind of fighting between the two of them, which we're not going to get into. But I think one of the guys that started Riko's used to work at Colony, and
We'll save that for a separate episode.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
The drama. We should have them both on.
But the reality of it is that they're both super successful.
Yeah.
And they're both really good if you like bar pie.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of bar pie, but I'm getting to like it a little bit more.
Yeah, I like the bar pies. It's definitely a different style from New Haven, obviously, and from a lot of the other pizzas that you usually have in Connecticut. But yeah, I do I love Colony. Riko's is great too. I like the crispiness. It's like crackery.
Yeah.
So I like that. But time and place, I think.
Well, plus you growing up in Massachusetts, and I think fairly close to Boston, that probably was something that was common.
Ton of them. Yeah, there's a lot in Massachusetts. A lot of
Yeah.
bar pie places. But yeah, so the story was that Riko's is opening a new location that will have more seating and a bar. So
Right.
if Riko's really just takeout, right? You just go in and grab it and go.
My understanding is it's takeout, and the one thing that I learned, which I didn't know, is that I believe they're franchising now. So
Okay.
they have locations in New York, Vermont, maybe Rhode Island, Florida.
Yep.
So they're kind of.
This seems to be the trend with a lot of these Connecticut places. Is they're starting to ride the wave of the popularity of Connecticut pizza, which is fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
the more you can get it out to other people around the country, I think it will help people visiting here too.
Yeah, and a lot of people that haven't grown up in Connecticut, they haven't yet experienced what we know is fantastic.
True.
And I'm not going to say the best, but it's one of the best, because everyone's best is really what they grew up with.
Right. It's that memory that you have of like the pizza place where I grew up in Massachusetts, right down the street. Was it the greatest pizza in the world? Probably not. But in my head it was, because it's what I had growing up,
Yeah. I mean, I got this guy, Gary Sawyer, who I've known for years, and he's originally from Stamford, and he thinks that Colony Pizza is the best thing that ever was made in the state of Connecticut. And I go back and forth with him all the time.
Yeah, it's your memories. It's what your taste was growing up.
Yeah.
Still remember the name, Themis Pizza in Rockland, Massachusetts. That was my go-to Friday night spot since I was like 5 years old.
Greek, or what was it?
No, it was just like neighborhood style pizza.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Themis?
fantastic. Yeah, THEMS.
Huh.
It was great. Does that sound like a Greek name? Maybe it was.
It does,
Greek.
I think.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Themis or Themis. Yeah, it does sound
I was 5,
Greek.
so I got to go back there one day. It's still open. Yeah.
Well, that means that it's probably pretty good.
Yeah, it's true.
Next thing we'll talk about is so a lot of people don't realize, but in the pizza world, there's kind of like the pizzerias and then the consumers.
Yeah.
From a trade show award kind of standpoint thing. So there's this award called, I think it's called 50 Top Pizza. And I checked to make sure that was correct, because it didn't sound 100%. But bottom line is, in New Haven, on Wooster Street, Zeneli,
Yeah.
run by 3 brothers. Neapolitan pizza. So for people that don't know, Neapolitan versus New Haven is very different. The roots kind of are very close, but the pizza style is very different.
Yeah.
So I did a review there several years ago, and I said to Gaz as they call him, I said, you guys got, what's the size of China, to be diagonally across from Pepe's, which is probably one of the most famous pizzeries in the whole world.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, they won a huge award, top 50 in the whole country.
And it was people from Italy doing the ranking, right? Doing
Yes.
the judging and the ranking. And of all the pizza places in Connecticut, Zeneli's was the one that they picked for their top 50.
Yeah, I think Pepe's got a nod, and Next Door in the Haven got a nod. So yeah, a lot of these lists are subjective.
Right.
But you know what? If you're on the list, it's a good day.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, especially lists like that, because that news goes out everywhere, like that top 50.
Yeah.
And respect within the pizza industry too.
Absolutely. And again, Neapolitan pizza is a little bit different than New Haven, but I know those guys are killing it down there. The service is amazing. I actually like the dinners more than, I like the pizza, but but my family loves the pizza. I like the dinners.
Yeah, yeah. And they're going to be on one of the panels we said earlier, right? Zeneli?
Yeah, so Gazmir's going to be on Icons in the Making.
Yeah. Awesome.
And they were there. They've probably been on Wooster Street 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah, again, to open on Wooster Street across from those legends, that takes a lot. And if you're able to be successful, that says even more about your pizza.
Yeah, I'm speechless because that's 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Congrats to those guys. That's awesome to get on that list.
Absolutely.
We wanted to talk Ooni a little bit, right?
Yep.
About this new oven?
Yeah, so they came out with a new oven. It's called the Koda 2 Max. So it's a big oven, 24 by 24.
Yep.
And the cool part about it is, like, a lot of New Haven pizzas are on the bigger side.
Yeah.
16, 18, 20 inches. Prior to this oven, you can only make kind of a small pizza.
Yeah, so I have the 16-inch,
Yep.
which when I first met Frank, we did a class at my house.
Yeah.
and we cooked with the Ooni that I have.
Yeah.
And it is true. Like, there's a 12. I don't know how people use the 12, but
I don't know
the
either.
16, at first I was like, this is great. And then I was like, and the more I've used it over the past 3 or 4 years, I'm like, wow, it would be nice to have a little more space, you know?
Yeah, the general rule for a lot of people that it's not really talked about, but whatever oven you get, whether it's an Ooni, a rock box, whatever the case might be, whatever the number is on it, so like Ooni makes a 12-inch, they make a 16-inch, now they make a 24-inch. What I tell people as a general rule is always take 2 inches away. And that's the maximum size pizza you should have in that oven.
Right, because the inch is the measurement of the stone thing inside, right? Yeah.
Right, so like I wouldn't, if you had a 16, I probably wouldn't make a bigger pizza bigger than 14 inches.
Right.
Because one of the big challenges in any of those ovens that are really made to make Neapolitan pizza, which is a fast, hot bake, is that it literally gets burnt. Like literally sometimes the pizzas catch on fire. So if you take an inch from both sides and you launch it, you're going to have much more control.
Totally.
But the new Koda 2 Max, 24 inches, it's got 2 burners. So it's got a separate left and right. So you can adjust the heat individually left and right.
And in theory, you could do 2 pizzas, right?
Yeah, so the way they sell it is you could have, I think, two 12-inch pizzas and 3 10-inch pizzas, or however they kind of fandangled it. But again, those are more Neapolitan.
Right.
But for the people in Connecticut that are really into New Haven, that want to make a big New Haven pie.
Yeah. Because what's the standard for like a large in New Haven? Like 20 inches?
16, 18.
16, 18?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Sally's and Bar is always known to make these big
Huge.
monster.
Yeah.
And they're like these rectangle kind of pizzas, and they're huge. But so that, and that model only comes gas.
Okay, yeah, because they have the wood fire and the pellets and those models too. Now, I have the gas one, and I feel like it's so much less messy. Because the wood fire and all that with the ash, like that just seems like, unless you add like a cool outdoor setup that, your oven stays out there.
Yeah.
But when I'm moving it in and out of the house or the basement, and like, it's just easier to use the propane from the grill out back and switch it over,
Yeah, and like everything else, everyone's got their things that they like. A lot of people like gas because it's easy.
Yeah.
I'm actually more partial to wood.
Yep.
Just because I actually believe I have more control over using the wood than the gas.
Yeah.
But, it's 6 one, half dozen the other. They obviously went with gas only because that's probably what they sell the most of, are gas attachments,
I would think
and gas ovens.
Yeah.
But
I do like the idea of cooking. I know it's Neapolitan style, but cooking 2 or 3 pizzas at a time, because anytime I've used my Ooni when I have people over, it is a little bit of a struggle to like crank them out, because you're doing one at a time, and it's like, all right, here's the cheese, and then everyone kind of eats it, and it's like, hold on, we got to get the other one out. So if you're able to do 2 or 3 at once, I mean, that would obviously be great for when you're entertaining people,
Absolutely. But one tip to give you to kind of, and it's a little bit more work for you, but it'll make the party flow better.
Yep.
Is when we were doing catering, we would make 8-10 pies before people even got there.
Oh, okay.
So it's called par cooking. So let's say you got 10 people coming over, I would make like 3 pizzas before, half cook them in your Ooni.
Okay.
Put them in a pizza box or store them in a refrigerator.
With the toppings and everything, or just
everything.
the dough? Yeah.
Everything. And then this way here, when people come, you can get 2-3 out very quickly, and then you can start working on making the one at a timers.
It's a good tip.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, because you could do that during the day, and then if everyone's coming over at night.
Yeah, I used to start at like hour and a half before people got there.
Yeah.
And again, I had bigger parties, so I was, and not saying you won't, but I would make 10 at a time.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, anything I'm doing, it's like the neighbors coming over, or like our friends or family or whatever. It's not. Yeah, you were obviously doing a catering level style. Yeah.
But that's a little cheat, to make 3 or 4 or 2 or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Before people come over, bake them halfway, put them in the refrigerator. When people come over, finish them off, and it basically cuts it half the time.
Yeah, smart. Yeah. The next thing we had this was a comment, right?
Yeah.
From the Facebook group, because you put up the question that if anyone had anything for us to talk about, and we got a bunch.
Yeah. So we're going to try to do one an episode, but one that I wanted to talk about was a gentleman, Jeremy Wells. He's a bigwig down at Stonebridge in Milford, and he's also got a podcast, Day Drinking with Dog.
Okay.
And he's a character. He's a really nice guy. I was on his podcast, I don't know, 6-9 months ago, but he asked me a question about Cup-N-Char Pepperoni.
Ah, yes, I love the charred pepperoni. It's so good.
So, be honest with you, I knew enough about it to be dangerous. So I did some research on it, and there's this guy out of Buffalo. I think it's Pizza Reviews by Joe.
Okay.
And he's he's a really cool guy, and he does a lot of pizza reviews up there. But I didn't know this, and I'm going to do a little bit more research on this. But pepperoni was started. Cup-N-Char Pepperoni was started by a company in Buffalo.
Oh.
In the 30s.
Wow.
And the guy's name was Umberto Bastioni. And I think the company was Rozzi is I think the name of the company. But bottom line is, he came from Italy. He was an immigrant. And his family made meats and sausages and things in Italy. And he brought that over here to Buffalo.
Nice.
But the cool part about this was the Cup-N-Char was actually made by mistake.
Oh.
So the Cup-N-Char is formed by the casing that the pepperoni is put in.
And they're usually small little guys.
Yeah, the general rule of thumb is the smaller the stick of pepperoni, the better the taste is going to be.
Yep.
More quality. But he used, and I don't know what casing he used, but the casing, when it went in the oven, it started to contract around the rim of the pepperoni.
Right.
So the pepperoni shrunk and it cupped. And in the bottom of the cup was obviously the oil or the runoff from the pepperoni, and that pretty much was the start of Cup-N-Char Pepperoni.
Now, if you're making pizza at home, you got to get a stick to try to get this to happen, right? And cut it up yourself?
Yeah, it's a little bit tough at home because you want to cut it thin, but really the pepperoni is also, there's specifically Cup-N-Char Pepperoni.
Oh, okay.
So there's a company, and I believe they're in the Midwest, but there's a company called Pennsylvania Macaroni Factory that sells a brand called Ezzo, E-Z-Z-O. And that is supposed to be the premier Cup-N-Char Pepperoni.
So they're made to do that. Yeah.
100% made to do that.
Nice.
There's also a pepperoni that I absolutely love that you can now get in most grocery stores. It's called Vermont Smoke and Cure.
Nice.
But to answer your question, ideally, you should get it sliced with a machine, but slice it as thin as you possibly can at home.
Yep.
Even maybe with a mandolin.
Yeah.
So the thinner the slices, the better. But also, there's pepperoni that looks like a silver dollar. So those are the cheaper pepperonis.
Yeah.
So if you get a pepperoni with that, no good.
Right. You want to save that for your cheese plate, your charcuterie board.
Right. You want to save that for, your kids are having a pizza party and they don't care what kind of pepperoni
they want to make their own pizza. Yeah, that type of thing.
I mean, a good stick of pepperoni is going to cost you $8-10.
Yeah. And you just chop it up real quick. Yeah, it's that easy.
Yeah. So hopefully, Jeremy, I answered your question on Cup-N-Char. He said he likes the thicker kind, and I wasn't really sure what he meant by thicker. But I thought he was like Canadian bacon kind, because some people put Canadian bacon. It's not my favorite.
So there you go. There's your answer.
Yeah.
And the last thing before we wrap up, did you see that Pizza Hut's bringing back their 80s pizza buffet?
I did, and it brought me back your point to college.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, do you remember going to those sit down? I think everyone does, going to their local Pizza Hut, in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, so for us, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday night, and it was all you can eat.
Yeah.
And basically the dorm emptied out.
Right.
And we kind of got creative because obviously it's all you can eat while you were there. but we got some Ziploc bags, and we used to make a couple care packages for
Bring
the
it
ride
with you.
home.
And they had those red cups, and so
yeah.
Pizza Hut has been popping these up around the country at certain locations, certain states, and these like a nostalgic throwback to those days, which is super smart of them to do. Pizza in general to me is inherently nostalgic, so it's a great idea to do that, especially because you see a lot of these Pizza Huts closing down. So to see some of them sort of doing that, it's almost like maybe it's like a last ditch effort. Like let's try to get them on nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there's good and bad to everything, and I think probably to your point, they want to bring people into Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
So there's something in business called the loss leader. I'm sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
They'll lose money on that one day, but hopefully it brings people back.
Right.
I mean, I've eaten a bunch of Pizza Hut in my life.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going to lie. Obviously now my taste buds are a little bit different.
Yeah.
But back in the day when, I only had $5, $10 in my pocket, Pizza Hut was a good thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so that's episode 13. Now, the next episode we're going to talk to Heath from Carmine's here in Durham and get his whole story. And so make sure you tune into that. Get your tickets for Pizza Fest, ctpizzaandbrewfest.com. And we'll talk to you next time. Make sure to follow and subscribe on social and YouTube and all your podcast platforms. And remember, it's not burnt.
It's charred, baby.